So, not too long ago, I did a video about a guy who had to deal with a bear home invasion, and basically it was caught all on video of him going downstairs and basically smoking this black bear that broke into his home after it charged him.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I reached out to him to see if I could get him to come onto my podcast to tell his story, and he obliged. So his name is Earl, but his friends call him Marty. And this is his story about what happened when a bear home invaded him, and he had to deal with it accordingly. This episode of the Colion Noir podcast is brought to you by Vetter Holsters. So, first of all, how's it going? How's everything on your end as far as the aftermath of everything?
Yeah, it's good. It's the aftermath's been good. It's been kind of wild, having something go viral like that, but it's been good. And all the feedback online seems to have been very positive, overwhelmingly positive. So that's great.
Gotcha. So let's just start from the beginning, because I remember when I came across the video, I was like, I didn't initially think it was real. I'm like, okay, because everything now is AI, right?
Right.
But most people have to defend themselves, from criminals and other two-legged animals, so to speak. But you had to deal with a four-legged bear, essentially. So just walk me through, just from beginning to end, how all of this kind of transpired.
Yeah, so bump in the night. My wife woke me up. I think I heard it. I'm not sure, but my wife definitely woke me up. And I have some pretty good security cameras, decent security system, and checked my cameras. Didn't see any vehicles or people coming out of the property. I mean, my driveway is like a quarter mile long, so if somebody's approaching the house, I've got pretty good sense of that. And trying to figure out what's going on. Honestly, thought it could have been any other bump in the night. It's usually nothing. And so just out of, I guess, habit, grabbed my AR-15 pistol and went downstairs. And as I was getting closer, I did hear a little rustling, and then went down, entered what's my living room. And there were two countertops between me and the bear at that point. I saw the bear. I could just barely see it. And I kept moving to try to, either get a shot on it or scare it out of the house or something. And that's when it bolted right at me. And I put 7 rounds in it. And all 7 rounds hit the bear, so that's really good. And 1 round did go through and just nick my floor, but, the Hornady ammo performed flawlessly. And, yeah, bear was dead, and then we had a mess to clean up.
I can only imagine. So at what point did you realize that you weren't dealing with a human, but actually dealing with a bear? Because I know you touched on it briefly, but can you do it in perspective of what we saw in the video? All right. So I've got to give a quick shout out to Vetter Holsters. They're now sponsoring the podcast. I've been using their light tuck kydex inside the waistband holster, and what I really like is how adjustable it is. You can tweak the ride height and cant to get it exactly how you want. Plus, they've got holsters for over 450 gun models in 75 different colors, so you can pretty much find whatever you need. But here's the thing that really sets them apart: their customer service. I've heard so many stories about how they've gone above and beyond to make sure you're happy with your holster. And with a lifetime warranty and a 30-day money-back guarantee, it's clear they stand behind their products. If you're in the market for a great holster, check them out at betterholsters.com.
Yeah, so I go downstairs, and then that's when I maybe hear a little something coming from the kitchen. I didn't know it was a bear until I go through that one. I checked that corner right in the video. You can see me check the pantry, nothing there. And I keep moving. And as I enter that next room, that's when I can just barely see the back of the bear on the other side of those two countertops. And it's black fur. And I saw, I think, maybe some ears. And I was like, okay, that's a bear. And that's when I kept moving. And then next thing you know, it's right on me. So.
Gotcha. And so my first thoughts when I saw it was initially, it was your setup. So is that rifle setup, is that kind of like your go-to home defense setup, or is that something that just happened to be?
It is my go-to. Yes, that's my go-to home. that's my go-to home defense setup. I do kind of rotate different guns out, but for the most part, that 11.5-inch Geisley Super Duty pistol is what I use for home defense.
Oh, so it was actually a pistol. It wasn't an SBR.
Yeah, pistol. That's correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, and then so from that standpoint, what can were you running?
Uh, Surefire RC2 Mini, and I'm really glad I had that on. So it definitely saved my ears. And in the video, you can actually hear me. Like, my wife asked if I'm okay, and I answer back. I whisper back. It's kind of funny. I'm like, yeah. It's like I can still hear really well and save my
Okay.
hearing. And so that was, yeah.
So you didn't have. So there was no ear ringing whatsoever. You were pretty much.
I don't know if I had like maybe a little bit of auditory exclusion in the moment, but I didn't notice it. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was obviously loud. 5.56 when it's suppressed, especially out of a short can. The RC2 Mini, like it's still loud, but yeah, it wasn't bad. I could hear just fine afterwards.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I try to implore people about, because like I know for me, one of my I already deal with tinnitus, so my ears are kind of in silent rooms, are always constantly kind of ringing anyway, and so I always try to make sure I don't make it worse. But I've always been really big on like the whole I don't want to blow my eardrums out, and then I run a rifle for home defense too, which is kind of a shorty. And so, my biggest thing is I don't necessarily need to be the quietest thing in the world, just quiet enough where I'm not like, what did you say? And then having to deal with that.
Yeah, especially even like the concussion of shooting unsuppressed in a confined space, that can be really bad. It's not even just the ears, like it's like the concussion and hearing damage and everything. I'm a proponent of suppressors for home defense for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just proved why. that's another thing. So now let's talk about the light aspect. What light were you running?
Surefire Scout. I forget the model number. It's maybe the M30. What is it? 340 M340 Surefire Scout.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, Surefire can, Surefire Scout, and obviously that was super important. I'm a big proponent of also maybe even more so than a suppressor. Put a light on your home defense gun. That was really important for me. And then also don't cheap out on your home defense light, because imagine a bear is charging you in your kitchen and your light goes down for whatever reason. It's super important. Don't cheap out on your light. Just go buy a nice light. Put it on your home defense gun.
Yeah. So how much would you say that light factored in terms of helping you identify that it was actually a bear, or where did that lighting aspect come into play best for you? Because
right. Yeah, so on the home defense like video footage, it looks brighter than it is because that camera's actually got like a night vision setting, and so it's pitch black, right? Like I didn't see anything except for what was in my white light, and so that light was incredibly important for me to see where the bear was, identify that it was a bear, and then obviously when it's coming at me, make sure that I could see it and put rounds on target.
Gotcha. And so from there, because you know your house, and because a lot of these questions I'm asking more so a lot for me too, as well as the audience, but did you feel like you had more of an advantage keeping all the lights off, or at any point did you think, okay, maybe I do want to turn on all the lights so I have light to see everywhere, to see everything that's kind of going on in the house?
Yeah, I've heard other people talk about that too. I don't know. It goes back to like really how much do you want to announce your presence in the moment?
Mm-hmm.
And in the moment, for whatever reason, I felt like I wanted to not announce my presence and try to have, if I did have like some element of surprise, maybe that would be a good thing. But yeah, that's certainly something you could do. And turning on lights is going to announce presence. And maybe if I had done that, the bear would have run out of the house. I'm not sure. So that's like a very situational dependent, I suppose, what you want to do in that scenario. For me, yeah, I just used the white light and was trying to figure out what was going on.
Okay. And so when you first realized that something or someone may be in your house, do you remember kind of what your body was doing? Like what were your thought processes as you were kind of more or less gearing up to go down and deal with whatever that happened to be?
So again, when I was going downstairs, I kind of thought it was going to be nothing. I mean, I walked down the stairs pretty casual. Like if you watch me go down the stairs, I was pretty casual. I didn't even put my sling on that I have on that gun. I was just going down like, it's probably nothing, So go down there and, the next thing I know, I'm dumping 7 rounds into a bear.
Right to the
But
bear.
yeah, I kind of thought it was nothing. Maybe that may have also played into why I just didn't turn the lights on.
Mhm.
I've got 6 kids, and they're upstairs and they're all asleep. So maybe that's what was going through my head at the time. He's like, oh, I don't need to start waking up kids and everything for something that I think is nothing.
Yeah. So I do have this. So I've been in situations where like I think I've like forgot to lock a garage door, or like wind may have blown the door open or something like that in my house, and I was 100% certain. I wasn't 100, but I was pretty certain there was no one in my house. But I still kind of acted mentally and physically as if there was someone in my house, and I kind of went through, kind of cleared the house and things like that. Was any part of you thinking, okay, this is probably nothing, but I'm gonna go through the motions just to kind of, for all intents and purposes, kind of get a rep in? Because most people don't think to do any of these things until something actually happens.
I think that's really important, getting a rep in. And like I said, I thought it was nothing, but I still grabbed my AR-15 anyway, just sort of out
Hmm.
of habit or discipline. And so, yeah, I think that you gotta get those reps in. And yeah, maybe that's what I was thinking is like, oh, this is a chance to go downstairs and just practice good discipline. Also checking my cameras beforehand. And, that may have been, that played a factor as well in me thinking it was probably nothing. But yeah, I would say you should have some discipline and a plan in place and get reps in on that plan. Absolutely. Because when something happens, you want to have this rehearsed ahead of time, and you want to know what to do. And a lot of it should really be automatic.
Yeah.
You should have your steps in place, like check your cameras, grab your gun. If you really do see somebody on your cameras, have your wife call 911 while you hold somewhere else. But like, you should have a plan in place and you should have it rehearsed.
Yeah. So just I can tell based on movement and watching the video and just kind of watching how you move with the gun. You clearly train with your rifle pretty frequently. I can tell. So even though,
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I do. I do like to shoot for sure.
yeah,
Shooting's fun. It's just, you love to shoot too. It's
yeah,
just
I
fun.
do.
It's fun to go to the range. It's fun to practice. It's fun to get better. It's a really fun sport or hobby or whatever you want to call it. But man, I love shooting. I do shoot quite a bit. I live in a pretty rural area. I get to
Mhm.
shoot right here at my house if I want to, and then I'm a member of a gun club as well. So
Okay.
yeah, I try to shoot at least a few times a week.
Well, awesome, awesome. So at that moment, I did have a question. I was wondering, when you were actually going through your home, was your rifle on safe? And then at the moment when the bear presented itself and charged at you, did you drop safety and then shoot, or was it already off safe?
That's
Do
a
you
great
remember?
question. I think
Yeah.
safety, yeah, no, that's a great question. I think safety discipline is really important, and I practice that a lot. I do a
Uh-huh.
lot of ready ups. Just getting that rep in of breaking the safety off and seeing your sight. In the video, if you zoom in and turn the volume all the way up, you can actually hear when I click the safety off. And I click the
Okay.
safety off when I first see the bear. And so, yeah, if you're really perceptive, you can see that. And then the bear, I keep moving to try to get a shot on it with the safety off, and then that's when it came around the corner, and that's when I shot it. But yeah, I think safety discipline is really important. Practice that, get your reps in on that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So then so how did the bear get into the house in the first place?
That's a good question. Um, we we live in the mountains, and so it is nice to leave some windows cracked because we don't have air conditioning, and it gets hot here during the day, but it cools off a lot at night. It's mountain weather.
Yeah.
And so we left a second story deck window cracked. The bear climbed up onto that second story deck, and it was cracked. I'm surprised how the bear was able to jimmy this window open, and then it pushed in the screen. But I was surprised it was able to do that. But yeah, that's how it got in. Came up on the deck, jimmied open the cracked window, pushed in the screen, and climbed in.
Jeez, that is crazy. So was it? I'm assuming was it a black bear?
Black bear, yeah,
Black bear.
yeah.
Okay.
We don't have grizzlies here. Yeah, just
Gotcha.
just black bears.
Okay. So let's say you didn't have your rifle, and would you? Let's say first of all, let's say you didn't have a gun at all. So we're gonna play a little kind of like theoretical game here. So let's start with no rifle. What handgun or what weapon do you think you would have grabbed if you couldn't grab your AR to possibly deal with this situation?
I'm probably not engaging at all. If I'm probably, I mean, like, let's say it charged me, right? And so now I've got a
Uh-huh.
bear on top of me. I don't know, like, man.
Yeah.
That was actually one of the things I think when you kind of you covered the story on one of your other videos, and you
Uh-huh.
juxtaposed it with that other video where those people are in their house, and or sorry, the bear is in their
With the
house, and
bears,
these
yeah,
people
yeah.
have like nothing to do. They're just sitting there filming it, and what a different situation. So I guess I don't know what I would grab. Like if I had to grab something off my nightstand, I don't know, like a
Yeah.
tomahawk or something. If I'm going to go, yeah.
That's crazy. So okay. So after this whole event, has anything changed about your setup and like what your plans are? If have you ever had to encounter something like this again?
Well, the biggest thing I'm doing is closing all those windows on that second story
Okay,
deck. Those are not
fair
open when
enough.
I go to bed. That's part of like my nightly routine is making sure all those windows are closed. I probably will end up getting another security camera or two because, like I said, that side of the house, we don't have a camera. Oh, well, we do, but it's like somehow the bear got past it. So maybe picking up
Mhm.
another camera just for over there. I mean, a person, I suppose, if they wanted to, could come up through the woods that way. It'd be highly unlikely, but you could. So yeah, another camera probably. I'll probably be more disciplined in terms of putting my rifle sling on. Every bump in the night is going to be like a real thing, because like
Gotcha.
I said, I
Yeah.
went downstairs maybe a little too casual. So yeah, definitely. In the back of my mind, be like, this could be something. So I'll always
Yeah.
be thinking it could be something.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, have you ever thought about what you may have done differently or the same if the bear hadn't charged you?
If the bear hadn't charged me and it just tried to get out of the house, I probably wouldn't have shot it. But
Hmm.
you know, I, I've heard of this happening before. My actually at my old house, this happened in my neighbors, and a bear came into their house, but they had a dog, and it was sleeping in their bedroom. The dog heard it, and then the dog beat the homeowner downstairs and scared the bear out of the kitchen. So that might be another
Okay.
thing I do. I don't own a dog. I would love to get
Uh-huh.
a dog, and I need to get a hunting dog. So that may be next too for security.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So you actually do hunt?
I do. Yeah, I hunt quite a
Okay.
bit.
Okay.
I love big game hunting. I want to get a dog for pheasant hunting out here. The
Listen.
pheasant hunting's pretty good, and maybe some duck hunting. But yeah, elk and
Gotcha.
deer is mostly what I do.
Okay. Have you had? So I'm assuming was this? Well, I don't know why I'm assuming this. I don't know. But was this your first encounter ever with a bear, or had you had in past encounters with bears, even threatening or
We
non-threatening?
Yeah, we see them around here. It's usually not threatening. They are around. It's bear country. We know that. And I've been
Mhm.
trying. It's funny. Like I've been trying to hunt black bear. I mean, I've gotten black bear hunting licenses for the last several years, and had one that I had it in my scope, but it had a cub with it. So you're not supposed to
Okay.
shoot a bear with a cub because it's like killing two bears. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've been trying to actually go hunt black bear for years now, and that was the only time I ever had one in my scope and passed on it. And then yeah, this was actually the first black bear I ever shot, and it's not the way I wanted it to go, but
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't really in the moment I didn't really have a choice.
Gotcha. Speaking of which, so what happened immediately after? So like you came down, the bear charged you, you dropped the bear. So kind of walk me through what happened after that immediately.
Well, first I was just making sure the thing was dead. I've shot things before and watched them get back up, so I was kind of dead checking the bear for a minute, and then
Hmm.
I went and did check like the rest of the house. I tried to figure out where it got in.
Hmm.
And there's kind of a longer form video. I do say, oh, it came in the screen over there. I go and check to make sure the front door's locked, just make sure everything's secure after I'm sure the bear is dead. And then after that, it's like, well, now what? My first phone call was actually to my brother-in-law. He used to work for Parks and Wildlife. And so I called him. I was like, hey, this is what happened. What do I do? And he's like, well, got to get a hold of whoever's on duty for Parks and Wildlife. They'll come up and take a report and take the bear. Called them. They were closed, and so then I ended up calling the sheriff. The sheriff came up to the house and took a report, and they put me in touch with the on-duty Parks and Wildlife officer, who came up, and he also took a report and then took the bear. Which is, I wish I could have kept something. It would have been a great
Yeah.
like conversation piece if I had a bearskin rug or something like that, but I don't. So you can't
Gotcha.
keep a bear if you
Man,
can't keep
they
a
should have
bear if
let
you're
you.
shooting self-defense.
Yeah, they should have let you keep it at bare minimum. I
I
mean,
know,
like.
right? Yeah.
So at the time, so while you were downstairs dealing with that, what was your wife doing? Was she aware? At what point was she aware that it was actually a bear?
After I shot it, she didn't know
Oh,
either.
really? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
she did. She didn't know, and then she was upstairs, and in the longer form video, you can hear her talking to the kids. Only 3 of my 6 kids woke up, so maybe that's another bonus for shooting suppressed
Press,
for
yeah.
home defense. Is your kids might not wake up. So yeah, 3 of my kids did wake up, and so she was kind of consoling them and telling them, "Hey, stay upstairs, don't go downstairs." And so she was on kid duty.
Gotcha, gotcha. And so I guess Parks and Wildlife, I guess they came in and dealt with the bear themselves. And then, like, how much of the cleanup did you have to deal with?
We had to do all the cleanup. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
So the sheriff came, yeah, the sheriff came and they on the phone. It was really nice. They were talking to Parks and Wildlife, and they put me on speakerphone. And the sheriff was like, "Hey, this bear's bleeding all over this guy's house. Can you move it out of the house?" The sheriff said, "I saw this in the house. It's a good shoot. Can you get it out and start doing some cleanup before this blood starts drying and stuff like that?" So anyway, got the bear out of the house, and then
Mhm.
yeah, it was just cleaning up a bunch of blood, and some blood got in the carpet, and that actually cleaned up okay, but just a lot of
Uh,
scrubbing floor.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know me personally. I'd be looking at saying, I don't know what to do after this at this point. I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I'm
Yeah,
just gonna leave it and come back and deal with this later. but I live in the city, so I don't necessarily have to deal with those problems. Well, then again,
yeah, you never know.
yeah, I know, right?
Different set of problems, but maybe same out.
So does your wife does she have a gun herself that she keeps for self defense?
She does not. After
Mhm.
this, she has been more interested in learning how to shoot and things like that. But she doesn't. She shot a little bit with me in the past, but the
Okay.
answer is no. She doesn't.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Any thoughts of maybe actually going to like a higher caliber handgun now at some point? I know the rifle did its job perfectly fine, right? But I'm wondering if like maybe you're like, okay, maybe I'll like just as a backup have a handgun, a high caliber handgun on standby too as well, considering you have to deal with the bear in this case.
Right. I've thought about that, especially because I live on a fair amount of acreage up here, and I do go do
Uh-huh.
stuff out on the property, and I don't always want to bring, a rifle caliber with me. So I've thought about picking up like a 10 millimeter or something like that. I haven't done it yet, but yeah, maybe after
Yeah.
this I will.
Yeah, no, no. I know when I did my elk hunt, I was running around. I was the only one. Everybody was kind of looking at me weird, but I was the only one running around with a 10 millimeter strapped to my chest.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, I don't know. It's the, I mean, I'm a city boy, so this was kind of like one of the few times that I'm out here in the wilderness like this, and all I have is a bolt action. So, and I only think in terms of semi-auto. And I remember after I'd got my kill, it was too late to kind of pack it out. So we had to walk back and pitch. So we were walking back, but it was like completely dark, and we're walking down the trail. It's like we had about an hour and a half, 2 hour hike back to the lodge, and it's pitch dark. And then all of a sudden, we're in this single file line, and we're walking back, and then you just see these two bright, glowing eyes right in front of us, and you just hear, and I'm like, oh, damn it, this would happen. And then everyone just gets super quiet, and then you just hear my dumb ass click. Because I'm the only one with a 10 meter handgun on me. I was like, I'm making it back to the lodge. I don't care what I have to do. But it turned out to just be a bull. But when it realized it was us and so forth, it kind of took off and scattered. But yeah,
Yeah. It's spooky out there. I've done that, packing out meat and at night, and man, it gets spooky fast. And I had the same thing happen once, but it was a moose, pitch black. We've got super
oof.
heavy packs on, and I'm like, oh my gosh! I came up over this log, and we're like climbing through deadfall to get these hindquarters out of the field. I climb up over
Uh,
this log, and it's like, in my headlamp, same thing, eyes, and and they're like up here. I'm like, oh my gosh, moose, go back, go back, go back. Yeah.
And the thing is, I've seen videos about moose, and they don't seem like the nicest creatures in the world. They're beautiful, but
Yeah.
apparently they're kind of grumpy.
They can be for sure. They actually scare me more than anything else here. We
Really?
black bears are kind of like overgrown raccoons. They want to just
Uh-huh.
push over a trash can, and then
And
mountain
then,
lions are pretty skittish. They don't really come around
yeah.
too much. But yeah, moose they're aggressive. They're scary and they're huge. Like,
Yeah. I don't trust mountain lions because we have mountain lions out here. I don't trust mountain lions because they could be stalking you and you'd never know it.
true.
And that kind of creeps me out. That creeps me out a little bit because by the time I do know it, it's kind of too late at that point.
Right.
But like but you pointed out, they are pretty skittish, so they usually don't want to deal with you to the same degree that I don't want to deal with them.
Right.
But like I said, like I'm glad the video came out. As fun as it was actually one of the more fun videos that I enjoyed doing. Because
Oh, good. Good.
yeah, but it also demonstrated how important having, like you pointed out, like you're like, you really don't, like, the rifle was probably your best bet.
I think
From
so.
that standpoint, like,
I think
and
so. I'm a big proponent of AR-15s for home defense. I know there's like this ongoing debate of whether you should have a handgun or a rifle or a shotgun, and I think the AR-15 in every category is the best for home defense. Even for example, over penetration, I think that was
uh
something that was proven in my case. If you have good ammo, that light 55 grain projectile isn't going to really over penetrate. Versus 9mm, you can have like a 147 grain 9mm or 115 grain. That's still going to go
it's
through
just,
quite a bit.
yeah, I think
And
people
then
forget.
obviously, shotguns, depending on, well, first of all, shotguns, you have to have good ammo selection. And then even if you do, you have reduced capacity and more recoil, and over penetration can be a big problem with shotguns. So yeah, I'm an AR-15 guy for sure.
Yeah, yeah, because I could be wrong, and I'm pretty sure people in the comment section are gonna let me know if I'm right or wrong. But I think you being able to drop those seven shots in the time period that you did was the force multiplier in that regard. I know
That's,
I'm highly skeptical that, let's say you drop one or two shots, that it would have ended as quickly as it did. Personally, I mean, what do you think?
yeah. So it was funny. I was talking to one of the sheriff's deputies, and they're like, "Oh, this happened recently, and the homeowner went downstairs and shot the bear with a handgun, and he shot the bear 4 times. The bear didn't die right away, and he had to go like hide in a closet while the bear bled out. It tore his entire house apart. So this bear was angry and tearing stuff up, and yeah, he used I don't know if it was a 9 or a 45, but the
Uh
bear did eventually bleed out, but it took like 10 or 15 minutes with this bear on a rampage in this guy's house as it's dying. And yeah, the rifle caliber is just so much more deadly and accurate in my opinion. Like, it's just easy. It's easier
Yep.
for me to shoot a shoulder fired gun
Than
up
it is.
close, even versus like a handgun up close. I would prefer that rifle punch and have those 3 points of contact, and it's just a better platform all around, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think people underestimate how hard it is to shoot a handgun. It's exceedingly harder to shoot a handgun accurately and effectively than it is a rifle. I've always been a big proponent of that. Nobody seems to believe me, but but I think that is the case because, like you pointed out, you get the 3 points of contact. Some would even argue four with your cheek weld.
True.
Um,
Yeah. Exactly.
right? And so for me, I know. And then on top of that, you have an entire system that allows you to have everything that you need at your disposal. You have your light, you have the suppressor, you have all those. Yeah, you could say the same with the handgun, but the dexterity and difficulty of running a light on a gun with the handgun is like it's a different dynamic. And personally, I
Yeah.
think, and then of course, just the effectiveness of a rifle round on something like that, I think, no question, I'm going AR-15 every single time, every single time.
I think there's a lot of people that watch Hollywood stuff, and they think that they don't shoot, and they've never watched ballistic gel tests, and they think that
Yeah,
a handgun round and a rifle round are equivalent because they are in Hollywood,
yeah,
right? You get
yeah.
shot with a handgun, you get shot with a rifle. It doesn't matter. But there's a big difference. Like, the terminal
Huge difference.
ballistics are incredible in a rifle that just aren't there with a handgun.
Yep, yep. And the I think people forget too. Like you pointed out, the guy shot that bear with a handgun, and yes, the bear is going to
Yeah.
die. But let's say he didn't have anywhere to hide. You still got to
Right.
deal with this bear as it's dying, not killing you in the
Yeah.
process while it's dying.
Yeah.
Whereas in your situation, it was just like 7 rounds, oh, that done. All
Yep.
right.
Exactly.
So was the 7 rounds intuitive? Like, did you just shoot until it stopped?
I did. Yeah, so I shot 3 rounds right away, and that was intuitive. And then there was like a little bit of a break in my cadence, and I think I was
Uh huh.
reacquiring my sight as the bear was moving. And then
Uh huh.
I'm just like, oh, I'm just going to shoot this thing until it stops moving. So I think it was basically just, I would back in the Magpul Dynamics days with Chris Costa,
Yep. Yep.
shoot them until they change shape or light on
Shake
fire.
that.
Like that was kind of what was going through my mind.
Yeah, I mean, and we're laughing about it, but it is honestly true because like you pointed out, like it's the whole goal is to not get seriously injured or die. And so it's
Right.
pointless if you drop a couple of rounds into whatever it is that's attacking you, and it can still do the very damage you're trying to prevent in the first place while it's dying. The goal isn't for them to die or for it to die. It's just to stop it from doing what it's trying to do to me. And I think people don't understand that mindset. People think, oh no, you just want to kill, kill, kill. I'm like, no, it's not about killing. We don't do the research and everything that we do about ballistics and all of that just so that we can be better killers in terms of self-defense. It's just make sure we stop the threat as fast as possible. And
Right.
usually that results in death quickly. but but I'm absolutely glad everything worked out the way it did, especially considering you were not expecting to have to deal with a bear in your house. And
Yeah,
I'm
me too.
glad,
I'm glad everybody's safe. Protected the
yeah,
family, and sad for the bear, but it is what it is.
yeah.
Didn't really have a choice in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you didn't have this. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's no way to. I'm not taking a risk of a bluff charge at that distance, personally. Yeah, so I'd have done exactly what you did. And like you said, I'm just glad everybody's okay. It is unfortunate for the bear, but them's is the breaks.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, no, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you taking the time to come out and tell your story about what happened. When I do these things, it's for learning purposes because, like I said, you only usually get one chance at this. You only if you find yourself in a situation, in a self-defense situation, you only get one chance. And you know what they say: you either learn from people's mistakes or you learn from people's successes. And I count this as one of those situations where you're learning from someone else's success, so you can take whatever information that is and implement it in your particular situation. So I appreciate you coming on and telling your story.
Well, it's an honor to be on. I've been following you for a long time, and I
Thanks,
appreciate
man.
everything that you've done for the Second Amendment and the gun community over the years. You've been a real figurehead, I would say, and I
I
appreciate
appreciate
everything
it.
you've done. It's an honor. It's an honor to be chatting with you.
I appreciate it, brother. Means a lot.
Yeah.
Means a lot. Yes, sir. All right. Well, definitely. I don't even know what to tell you. You did everything so well. I'm at this point. I'm just like, if it happens again, do the same thing you did last time.
Yeah, no, hopefully not, but
but no, appreciate it, man. Thank you very, very much.
thank you.
Yes, yes, sir.